Buenos dias, amigos. Bienvenue. Welcome one and all to MRC Tier 2 on a Monday night. And tonight we welcome you to the wonderful land of España, famous for wonderful cervezas, tapas, and of course Fernando Alonso. If you've never heard of him, well, to be honest, you probably like Carlos Sainz more. Anyway, speaking of people I like more than both of those, there's a man who's joining me in the booth tonight who's even more special than either of those put together. His name is Marcus of the Hodgson. Hello, friend.
Good evening. Hello, appreciate that.
Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo estás?
Hola, hola. I don't know anything. I know no Spanish whatsoever.
Not even how to order beer?
Like, yeah, that's me done now.
What about una cerveza, por favor?
See.
That sounded like a beer, please.
Oh,
So,
see.
technically, you got that right. Fantastic. How are you, my friend? You well? You well?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Good.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to this. Looking forward to hopefully fully dry. I'm looking forward to an exciting qualifying session. There's the practice sessions. The times were very close as well that we've seen this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can do on track. I'm looking forward to hopefully not many safety cars. And a lot of close wheel-to-wheel action, and and then us later on.
Oh yes. So you're right. We have of course got another race later on, but we'll focus on this one for now.
Of course.
Good evening already in the YouTube chat to Mr. Mark, the Simba Dennison, and to the Monster. Hello, both of you. Monster's on track. I wonder if he'll give us a little update on the weather. But whilst he comes through with that information, RJ, you can run us through a little lap of the circuit de Catalunya with Mr. Hoseman in the Ferrari. He will be the first car around. He's in the final corner now.
Yes, certainly is. I'm going to bring up the track map in case we do have some corner names. But DRS wide open down the start-finish straight. It's a tricky track to get the right amount of downforce, but you want the top speed already. 203 mile, 204 heavy brake about the 17-metre board. Throws it to turn 1, turn 2 upshifts nice and early to set him up for the long turn 3, never ending. Sometimes let the car go drift out wide. He's kept it a bit tighter this time. And the late braking around the 50-metre board for the uphill of turn 4. Very easy to lose the back end. Takes a wide sweeping line into the downhill. Very difficult braking as we've seen. Understeery through turn 5 and then keeps on going down the hill. Pretty enough, that was turn 6. You just missed it. And then turn 7, turn 8. It was very easy again to lose the back end through there up the hill. Almost flat now. But turn 9, DRS, the second DRS on wide open to this newer part of turn 10. Very long. Keeps it in 4th gear. It's I don't know, I'm not a fan of this part personally, but some are. And then the long turn 12 as he went straight over turn 11, and then the new revised old layout of turn 13, and then slight dip lift off the throttle to get the car turned to turn 14 in the short run to the line. He sets it to 13-1. Good opening lap.
Good banker indeed. We saw people struggling to get that lap in practice, so definitely a good start for Sander, the hosepipe. He's back after a little period away. He has some personal matters to deal with in life, which is a shame, of course, but he's back now. So we're happy to see Sander back on track. Another person who we love seeing on track, Connor Hardy, coming through the final corner now in his Papaya McLaren. Crossed the line, and he pops in a 1:14.5, a respectable lap. And just behind him, Womax in the Williams, 12.6. That'll give a few people a little moment of anxiety seeing that really fast lap there. It's given me a little bit of a tremor personally. Anyway.
I know. Certainly Captain Nibs. Wow.
Yeah, great lap from the Nib. Mr. Nibbles. I'll call him from now on. Mr. Nibbles.
Sounds like a hamster. Sounds like a pet hamster when you were 10.
It does actually. I was going to say, he's like, have you ever seen Venom?
Yeah.
The Marvel film. If Venom was a child-friendly version, he'd be called Captain Nibs. Another man with a fast lap, Gatian.
Yeah.
1 minute 12.7 from Gatian, so already we're seeing some cracking laps across the board. Law PP5 in the other AlphaTauri currently, with 13.2. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I've got a bit of a glitch on the steering wheel. Alex is on the mediums, and so is Fire Rooster at the moment.
Indeed.
I'm going to keep an eye on those two guys, and see what they can do. I'm not sure, of course, if they're fueled for 2 runs or not, which sometimes you tend to do on the mediums.
I personally would. You've got enough fuel. Sorry, if you've got enough fuel, you've got enough life in the tyre. If anything, the tyre warm-up is better on that second lap. You find a lot of tracks this is the case now.
Yeah, dude. I used to do it a while ago. I haven't done it for a long time, where if I was going to do a lap on the mediums, I would not do one lap. I wouldn't do a warm-up and a fast lap and then cool down. Just the way that it sets your fuel up and the ERS recovery. But I would do the 2 warm-ups, the 2 slower laps, to make sure you've got the heat, make sure that the tyres have, I'll push a little bit more, I would say, on the second lap, just to see is the grip actually there yet. And then try and go full send on technically the 3rd lap.
It's not a bad call, to be fair. I do agree. That's what I was doing in Monaco, at least, and that was definitely necessary. This is also quite a short lap, similar sort of lap times to Monaco here. Much higher average speed. And Alex, wow, 12.4 on a medium. Oh dear! And Wow's on the Williams has just bailed in his lap. He's not happy with how he's doing. Jacob, the Firecock, is in the first sector at the moment. He's also in the mediums. It looks like he's
could
not
be doing
on
the second run because he hasn't got his ERS running.
Indeed.
Martin's saying there's possible thunderstorms in the race.
Indeed. In fact, Aero Voice, Fabian Scholten, has said the same thing, saying heavy rain.
Oh, wow.
Now, that brings me on some trivia for you. Now then, in 1997... No, sorry, I lied. 1996, a certain man won his first race for Ferrari in España in some very heavy rain. Would you happen to know who that significant driver was?
I kind of want to go with the 6 and the obvious, but I'm sure we'd won a title with them by then anyway. Oh... I don't know if this was the right time. I don't have my notes up, so I'm going to say... Was it someone like Eddie Irvine, potentially?
No, it is Mr. Obvious. Mr. Schumacher's first race win was at this track. It was one of those
I wanted to go away from that.
Yeah, so Ferrari 96 were not competitive. Not competitive at all, and in a very, very heavy rain set track, Mr. Schumacher run riot. Which is not surprising, seeing as everyone at the time regarded him as the Rainmeister.
Yeah, I think it just set the trend then, obviously, from there. For what he was generally known for in his full career, wasn't it?
Indeed.
So, Ziad do crossing the line, 13-0.
Indeed, Ziad in the Alfa Romeo. Now, Ziad is a Tier 1 and Tier 2 reserve. He's raced regularly since joining, I believe, Miami was his first race. He's shown some very good, respectable pace, in fairness to him. It's very good to see that not only has he shown that on occasions, but on a regular basis in 2 different tiers. He's also reserved Tier 3 and taken part in MRCX as well, so he's a keen, avid member of MRC, which is nice to see. And of course, putting P5 in Tier 2 quite early doors, it's never a bad call. Not a bad start to the session for him. But,
yeah, he joined in Tier 3 and, well, pretty much ran right, didn't he, the first... part of the season.
He did indeed. Now then, Lorpy, he's on a lap, he's half a tenth up. Lorpy on Friday in MRCX, he had some fantastic speed. His pace was brilliant, and he was keeping up with his good friend G-Star, who was in P3 at the time, keeping up with him on track. He was a few seconds behind him on the circuit, but he was matching his lap times, so this could be a good venue for Lorpy to get some good points. Oh, what's the scene?
I was just trying to follow Jacob on, see if he's struggling to get a lap in at the moment. He went very wide through turn 4, kicked the gravel and smashed the Rolex board up. So I think he's done about 2. He's done at least 2 warm-up laps, and now he's finally got his ERS working and open with the DRS as well. So that mistake has cost a lot of time. A 53.0 in the second sector. I think we've seen a lot in the lower 52s.
Oh, wow!
Currently.
Lorpy improved for 13.0, but Captain Nibs 12.2. He's not messing around. That.
Are we going to see the 11s? I think we're going to see 11s.
I think we're surely going to see an 11 here. I have to say, Captain Nibs, in fairness to him, he's just lost it at turn 1. He got a bit giddy with excitement. Now, Captain Nibs, he's not long returned to MRC, but he's come back with some vengeance. He's hungry.
Yes. Good lap from Bit.
Indeed, the Bitmeister.
Finding a little bit of form at the minute.
He's a Schumacher fanboy, is Carl. And I can tell you now, the idea of rain in the race, he will be licking his lips. He's also bombing out. You can see it here. He's in the Ferrari. He's got a blue, yellow, and red helmet. Now, is that a throwback to Alonso when he was in Ferrari? Because that's very similar to helmet to what he had then.
Could be. Yeah, it could be.
From a Vettel and Schumacher fanboy, that's a bold move. Hosman! Oh, wow. In the other Ferrari, 12-1.
Well, Carl did run a Benetton sort of something like that livery on Friday.
Renault, yeah, he did.
Renault livery, that was it. So maybe he's just forgot to change his helmet.
That's possible. That would make sense, actually. Maybe he has.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Our Voice is running full wet setup.
That's brave. Because
if it's going to be fully wet in the race, then...
Indeed.
With the downforce levels currently being a bit higher, especially around here, it makes you wonder what would be a setup for wet. I mean, I don't practice the wet, I just make it up as I go along.
Jacob's lost it somewhere.
I think that's coming into the pit lane.
It is, I think it might have hit that wall that was mentioned earlier. So that ball in the entrance is treacherous.
It is, it's weird, isn't it?
But yeah, setups, I'd say add a crank of wing on each end, maybe two, add a little bit of ride height, maybe soften the suspension a tiny bit, and that's really about it. You can't do much more that wouldn't compromise you too much in either situation.
Yeah. Because you've still got a few long enough straights, we'll call it, to be hampered. Oh, single track was nearly 3/10 up, and he's had a big rear sliding moment through turn 10. I think he's going to have to bail that lap.
Indeed, that hairpin there, I found if you don't have the right brake bias on corner entry there, as you start to throw the car into the corner, in the latter part of the braking zone, the front end will grip, but the rear will start to lose grip, and it will come around like a pendulum. So you need to make sure that rear end is planted. If that means you have to wet the brake bias up for that part of the lap, then you're going to have to do it, because if you lose it there, it's such a high-speed corner, which only has a couple of small different changes to line in it, that other cars will come flying into you, and that'll be game over.
This could be good from Fabian. Across the line. Yep, 12.8.
12.8 P6. I'm just looking at Jackster in the middle sector at the moment. He's currently P16. He's had some good results. The last few races he's been around P4, P5. He's currently in the top 10 of the championship, which, considering he was in Tier 3 last season, that's no mean feat. That's a good result for him. But he's down on his current lap. He's caught for second down, and ooh! There's that pendulum effect we were just talking about at turn 10. You lose your rear end even slightly there, and you are in trouble. Now then, 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes to go. Not many cars on track. Ziad is on track. He is just saying, and Ziad's lost it at turn 10 as well. He was 3 tenths up on himself, and he's lost it at turn 10 hairpin too. So easily done. Now then, who's on an out lap that we can jump aboard with? Connor Hardy. He's just coming to start a lap. Let's see what the man from Reading can do. Now then, top speed on this track, if you're running a slightly skinnier wing, you can get to 210, 212 miles an hour. If you're running high downforce, even with DRS, you're going to struggle to hit 207. But ultimately, as you point out there, there's a couple of significant straights, but ultimately the corners here make up so much for lap time that you will lose too much time if you're too low on the wings. You need to make sure your corner speed is very high, and Connor, huge twitch there.
He's not got his DRS running, so I think this is another kind of slower lap for him, but doesn't look like it around there.
No, error voice.
I think Fabian's gone straight on at turn 1, actually.
He has. I think Connor either made a mistake and decided to back out of it, or he's just being a little lackadaisical on a second warm-up lap. Let's hope it's a second.
Yeah.
Let's find someone else to look at, give him some peace and quiet for once. I don't do that often. Woomax. Let's have a look at Woomax. Ilian, as quick as ever, he is always a threat. No matter which tier he's racing in, no matter what track it is, he's always a threat. As I'm sure you can remember, you've raced him many a time.
Yeah, certainly have.
He's 15 thousandths up on himself in the middle sector. currently P4. He's half a second from pole. He will need a stellar final sector to gain some performance and some places here.
Looks like he had a bit of understeer going through turn 12.
He's bailed. Yeah, he's going to go for another set.
He'll have to be quick. I don't know if he'll have enough time.
He will, but he'll have to really, really fly. Now then, Connor. Connor's 3 attempts up in the first sector on his next attempt. So, this is promising for Connor. Currently P18. The 2 cars behind him I don't believe are going to pose a threat to him. One is not in session and one is still in the pits. So the only way is up here, Mr. Hardy. 1:14.5 is your current time. 7 attempts to the next car, which is Genie. Here he comes to the middle sector split. What will he be? And he's just over 3/4 of a second up, so this is promising for Connor.
Yeah,
a bit more in the final sector would benefit him humongously.
Oh, this could be battling with Horsman. I'm going to keep an eye on Alex as he's coming into the last sector. He's just over 3/10 up as well on his lap.
Keep an eye, we'll jump to him shortly. Connor rounds the final corner, and he goes P17. He jumps Genie, but let's jump to Alex Jarek into the final corner. Could this be pole position for the Haas? It is 12-0.
Wow.
He beat Hosman by half a tenth. Hosman is on an out lap. We'll come back to him shortly. Ziad is on, just started his flying lap. So let's see what the Alfa Romeo man can do. Actually, we'll come back to him shortly because Dumbers Hornet is... No, he's done his lap. I take it back. I'm sorry, everyone. Stube is just further around the track. So let's stay on board with Stube, the Middlesbrough man. Your fellow Teessider. And he's just decided to go off track. Let's just go back to Ziad. Who's gone off track? Oh, come on, guys. What is going on here? What are we doing here? Racing or ping pong? Now, Hosman.
It's a lawnmower Olympics. That's what we're doing.
Let's go back to Hosman. Let's just stay with the top
About
dons.
Equal through his first sector.
Indeed.
Oh, big twitch!
Oh, Thunder. He was giving it everything. Full beans, trying to find every millisecond he could. Now then, Gassian. He's in the middle section. What can Gassian do in the Alfa Tauri? And he said Alfa Romeo. Now then, through turn 9, which in some setups you can take it flat, depends how much wing you've got. And he's attempting a bit up as well, so Gassian potentially could jump Wumax. Wumax is currently in the pits, not going to be improving on his lap then.
Out lap is
oh no, he is on a lap, sorry, I was wrong.
There was
lots of cars there. Lots of cars trying to get out of the way. So dangerous there.
He's able now to start his lap just in time, I feel. I don't know.
Gassian doesn't improve. Gassian didn't improve.
Wow.
Well, he did, but sorry, not in his position anyway.
Max crossed the line with about 4 seconds left to spare.
Oh, cutting it fine. Captain Nibs, by the way, he's up in the first sector by about 100th of a second. What can Mr. Nibbles?
He took 7 and 8 very nicely there. He used just enough of that sausage curb to.
He's out of ERS.
On track, yeah.
He's not got any ERS. He's a 10th down. Yeah. What is... Oh, he's round at turn 10. Everyone's favourite hamster has lost it.
Slightly up from Wumax. He's going to need a really good middle sector.
He will.
He's got a clear track.
I'm sure he's going to find something. Let's jump on board. Talk us through Hodge as we come through turn 9.
Yeah, uses just enough curve. He's low on the ERS because he had to use a little bit more. He should be okay for the end of it. 2/10 up. How is this going to be? Let's the car gets on the power early. Takes that. I quite like that line. That's a really nice line. Slight correction. Power okay. Flat out. Upshift early to 7th there. Keeps it in 7th. This could be close. 12.5 up to 4th.
And Ziad pops it into P5 as well. Single track P8. He had a late improvement there as well. Monster is in P9. It's a good recovery from him. He's had a few struggles in the last few weeks, but that'll be a good qualifying he'll be happy with. Lorpy, after all of that, drops to P10. Bit P11. He'll be relatively happy with that. Fox P12. 13th for Wazza. 14th Douglas Hornet. 15th Stube. 16th Chuckster. 17th Colin. 18th Genie. 19th Firesta. And last but not least is Geke. But Alex Jarek taking pole with a 12-0. What a lap.
It really was. I mean, you look at the times there, there's just less than a second separating the top 13 and about 0.08 of a second separating 10th to 13th. 4 drivers. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous how close that is.
Shows just how competitive
for
this
Monster,
series.
who did that quite quietly.
He did.
So really pleased for Monster. I was looking for a bit for single track. He's had a lot of good results lately and a lot of good qualifying. So he's still an 8th good strong one. Can make a lot from there. He was very quick as well the other day.
Yeah, I have to say that was a cracking qualifying session. Really good and competitive laps across the board. And as you said, how close that is for the top 3. How close again that group is in the midfield as well. But as we've just gone through the results, there they are on screen. Unfortunately, Fajr Russo never got a soft run in. We'll maybe see his pace in the race, although if the believed reports are to be true, it's going to be soggy.
Yeah, I'm interested now to see how wet. Is it wet enough for inters, or is it going to be full wet? And it's how many people are going to struggle, mainly with the rear, I find, for traction round here, because they're not start-stop corners. They're about 3rd, 4th gear for the lot of them, and you drive, whoa, that's wet.
I'll tell you what.
That's like it's what it's been up here today. Oh,
Now,
I'm getting PTSD from, most of my day in the northeast.
Listen, that does not look very España. That looks more Costa del Scarborough.
Yes.
Scarbados, not Catalonia. Yeah, I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, we know Aero Voice has set the car up for the wet stuff. It will be interesting indeed to see who has also played it safe or who has gone aggressively on the dry stuff, because really, whilst you should be running highish aero here, if someone's chanced it on, say, 25 wings, they are going to be in for some trouble.
But, they are. But at least we've got the formation lap back, which is great. Now that glitch is fixed. I'm thinking Carl up there in 11th. He is good in the wet usually. It is full wet as well. Ooh.
Yeah, that is wet.
Yes. I like it when I'm not racing in it.
I quite like racing in the wet. Am I psychotic?
No, I don't mind it. Full wet, I don't mind. Inters, I'm hit and miss with. I thought I was quite quick in Imola when we had inters on. And then I was okay and I was doing pretty well, and then realised that Kid Dynamite was 13 seconds behind me with 5 to go, and then suddenly he wasn't.
He does that to everyone.
It puts you into perspective. It puts every bit of life. When Dean's following you, you just think, yeah, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's one person you do not want hunting you down. But who's your outside prediction for the race today? Are you going to go obvious with a front view, or are you going to have a dark horse?
I'm going a little bit of a dark horse. I'm expecting something from the Alpines, from Air Voice and single track. As a good friend that he is as well, I'm hoping Monster has a good race as well. And just keep an eye on Carl on bit in 11th. I think he does well in these conditions. So that's where I'm looking. But to be fair, as another outsider, if you're looking at the top 3, then Captain Nibs. Why not? It's... we've
got Hoseman in the wall. He's beached.
He actually is.
Oh, no. It's easily done, of course.
He set the track in formation lap? I don't know. He just get disqualification from... Well, that's... I said was it Imola, when I said we had that many different people. Was it Tier 3 had the quickest time for... you can't even get... Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
That'll do. He'll get there eventually, I think. Where is he?
He's coming through now. He's just started moving. This is a bit weird, watching a Ferrari make its way through the grid like that.
Yeah, that was new.
Is he going to get in the grid slot? He does. But now here we go.
Well done for that. Good manoeuvrability. Here we go.
Oh, we've got some glitches on the timing screen already. It's deciding in what lap it is. But finally,
going back to the last one.
Are the lights out? We can't see him from this angle. But we are racing, and immediately, what a start from Hoseman and from Alex. They have immediately got the run off the line, and these camera angles are not helping.
News has got a good one. Gatjan's got a good start as well. I'm going to go back a single track. Wow, up into 6. Monster. Error Voice has got swamped. Single tracks there. What's Monster doing on the outside? He's kept it all clean. A bit of argy-bargy with Gasky and Woomax, I think.
Indeed, look at this little trio here, all side by side through turn 3. Incredibly well done there, lads, to keep that clean. And look at this as Hoseman's having a go on Captain Nibs for P2 to retake position. Is Nibs coming back at him? He is! Back through turn 4. Hoseman right the outside has no grip and loses out again.
Yep, single track made a really good. Whoa,
oh my god, Williams round!
It's
Woomax!
drift!
Are we in Tokyo? Safety car, Ziad is out.
Drifting!
And Ziad and Geke are both out.
Safety car.
Yeah, Geke and Ziad are both out. Something has happened.
No.
Something has happened in that first sector. We have a full safety car. So lap 1 and we're already into the safety car chat archives.
I mean, I was on board with single track after he made that move on Gatian, which was a very opportunistic, very good move, very clean as well. And it just going to turn 5. It was Nib sideways, then Horseman followed him sideways, Woomax was sideways, then Martin was sideways.
Mental
that was crazy to watch. That was awesome.
So Mark Dennison pointing out what I said earlier, which is this is about Michael Schumacher in Spain with the heavy rain. And it really is, it's Spain 96 vibes, definitely. So, but look at the position change. Obviously, Nibs passes Hoseman for P2. Single track 3 places up. Lorpy up 3. Fox up 4. Jackster's up 6 from 16 to 10. Great start from him. Demis Hornet, another great start. 3 places up. Big loser out of this, though. Error Voice, 6 places down. That fullback setup has not worked for him yet.
Yeah, I think it's just off the line. He got a bit cut and got cut up with that. The few drivers in pit, Stube and Fire Rooster. But I was looking on board with Hoseman, as you said at the start. His first phase was a great reactions, and then it just the second phase he got so much wheel spin, upshifted then a bit too much, and the car bogged on him, and he had to fight with Nibs and Woomax, I think it was as well, and yeah, it was very close, but. Also, I thought, well, from where I was looking, I don't know what you were looking at, but very fair and very, very good through the opening couple of corners.
Yeah, I thought that was very well thought from a lot of people. I think a lot of people were trying to take that sensibly and cautiously, which is the right thing to do in these kind of conditions. When you've just had a dry qualifying to go to heavy rain conditions, you've got to be precautious, you've got to be careful. But to have 2 DNFs early on, it's never good. But still, for the 18 that are still with us, well done for keeping it on the track. Well done for keeping it going. We've got a few people.
It's so demoralising, isn't it? If you're out in the first lap or first couple of laps, you spent a lot of time doing your practice sessions, getting ready, and then you're out straight away, and it's horrible. If it's your fault, for example, if you've lost the rear or the front won't stop and everything, it's like, okay. After all that, I made a mistake. If you're the innocent bystander, it's gut-wrenching, really. It's
100%. It is. It's infuriating when you get taken out by someone, but it's embarrassing when you make a mistake and take someone with you. And regardless of whose fault it is, I'm sure we'll hear about it in the stewarding later. Leave that for the stewards to deal with. And for the rest of us, let's keep racing. Well, once the safety car decides to vamos. There's some more Spanish words. Vamos. Now then.
Oh, wow. I've just seen a little onboard sneaky shot of the damage that Stubalicious has got.
With Connor by a chance.
That is a lot of damage with Stu in that first lap collision. He'll do very, very well to keep that on track, I feel.
Yeah, I've seen it's been posted in the stewarding group, so of course we'll have to let stewards decide on how they feel about it, and we'll just leave that be for there. But obviously, as you pointed out, he's going to have a difficult time. It's difficult conditions as it is. So fingers crossed he's feeling up to the challenge of keeping this going.
And I think because with it being at its lower speeds, you may be able to get away with something like that.
Maybe. Now, is it me, or does it look like the rain's slightly eased off? Only a tiny bit. Not a lot, but I feel like it looks a little bit less wet.
Yeah. I kind of think you're right. It looks a bit brighter.
I feel like, I mean, you still need a boat. A rudder would be useful in these conditions.
Yeah.
Maybe a sail, but speaking of sail, the safety car is about to sail off into the pits, and we are about to go racing. Warming up your tyres in these conditions, I think you just want to keep it on the track for the time being and let the tyres naturally come to their appropriate temperature. Let's see when Alex goes. The obvious place would be, I mean, I tried an X out of where we are now, out of this right-hander, and I caught the safety car too quickly, which meant I couldn't go here. And that's the problem, because that's the place you want to try and catch everyone out. However, you need to really back the pack up, and you don't get long enough to do it. So this is where you actually have to go, and that doesn't give you the run, because there's not an acceleration zone, therefore everyone will expect it. And Alex, looking a little bit twitchy as he tries to get the power down. Now he does go, but Hoseman only 6/10 behind him.
He was just trying to get the car in a straight line, which is sensible. I tell you what, we've got single tracks had a great start as well.
Indeed, up the inside into turn 1. Oh, we got Nibs is round. Right. Nibs is round, and Womax is off track. He's had to concede position, but now single track is off track. And now Martin's got Gassian on the outside of him, Lorpe's behind him. The AlphaTauris are coming to attack.
Yeah, but I think everyone's just scrambling for that little bit of grip again that we saw early on.
Indeed, Captain Nibs is struggling to get the car going, but he's now finally in the right direction. As Gassian just has a look at the inside of single track, doesn't quite get the move, but Fox River does get the move on Monster. He and Monster are now side by side again as they head down the hill into 7 and 8. And Monster's got the position back. Well done to Andrew. Of course, that was great driving from all of them. Just behind them, Dumas Hornet now getting a little bit excited in the back of Jackster, who's also keen on the back of the Mercedes ahead of him. Back to the front. Hoseman struggling to keep it on track.
Yeah, look at the 2-second gap already. I think it's because Hoseman's either made a mistake or it's just a bit tentative at the moment. Either that, he's just looking and he's got Womax and single track all over the back of him. Oh, single track goes a little bit wide. He's going to have Gassian potentially in the last corner. Gassian wide as he thinks of it.
He's going to come back at him though. Here he comes. Gassian's got a great run on him. And there's, hold on, Womax has had a moment of final corner because look, single track and Gassian are both guessing him.
It's going to be double trouble.
Gassian backs out of that one. Martin a bit twitchy for turn 1, but Hoseman's even twitchier. Are we going to see a move around turn 3 from Gassian, who looks so confident?
Yeah, you're right, Gassian is looking good. Martin's looking good as well. And Womax got off track through the last corner as well. I think it was almost side by side with Hoseman and oh man, he's lost it!
I know, Womax has hit him.
Got hit by Womax. Womax was just didn't ghost in time and he's lost part of his wing.
He just couldn't see him. And look, there's the missing part of wing. You can see it from Lorpe's rear wing. You can see his missing wing. Womax is in trouble there now. I think Womax did nothing wrong there. I just feel he had nowhere to go. Whatever he did there, he was going to have a collision.
Yeah, there was nothing Womax could do. No, nothing either of them could have done. Martin was fully sideways, 90 degrees to the track, and Womax just took to that side to try and avoid and just was so unlucky to get caught in it.
Indeed. Now then, Monster. Look at Monster now. His confidence all over the back of Lorpe. Monster seems to have some fight in him right here in these very treacherous conditions. Could this be the return of Andrew's form and confidence?
Hope so.
I hope so for him too.
Lorpe never gives in. He never gives an inch, does Lorpe either.
He fights hard,
so he's got to be careful. We know about the drivers who like to make their presence known on track. Let's use that
Monster very late on the brakes, and he just got that stop for a second. I thought he might be having a insertion moment in the back of that AlphaTauri, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and Fox is the same as Lorpe. We know he likes to make his presence known on track, so this is going to be one I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on as well. Womax and Wazza are pitted. Single track decided to stay out though with his damage. Connor's up to 12th, all over the back of him.
Just notice, Hoseman, through that first sector, every time we come on board with him, he seems to be struggling to keep the car on track. Is he got some damage himself? Is he struggling with tyre temperatures or tyre pressures or even brakes? Because he's dropping off at Alex really quickly. Now, we know Alex is quick, and we know Gassian's quick, so It could just be that we've caught him at random moments of mistakes, but could he just be struggling? Look again, he's really.
I'm going to go on a lap with him.
Oh, it's a huge moment! He's got to turn 10! We've caught a lot of people at turn 10, and the Hosman will be so upset with himself for that. That promotes Thomas Hornet.
For about 5 cars to get past as well.
Thomas Hornet's on the P6, by the way. Great drive from him. 8 positions up from the start spot. Fox River's 7 places up, and Jax is 9 places up. Great job from those 3.
And that's the thing with wet conditions. It is all about. Okay, now, strange.
We'll see that one later, I'm sure, in shooting.
Yeah, as he's pitted as well as Martin.
Indeed.
It's one of those. Just keep the car on track, and you take your time in the wet. That's when it comes to you, rather than push on and you tend to not use as much ERS. Yes. You don't want the extra. Is it about 160 horsepower? I think it is.
Something like that. Yeah. Up to 200, I think.
Just to set the wheels spinning even more. But Andrew's dropped off the back of Lorpy, and now he's really got Fox for company with a train behind him. And it's not necessarily the trains that we normally see, a DRS train, etc. He's not. I don't think he's a cork in the bottle. I think just they're all the same pace and the same point of the track. Oh, that's Thomas!
Thomas Hornet's dropped it, unfortunately. See on the exit of turn 8.
Damage to his wing.
Oh dear. Now, coming back to Fox River on the back of Andrew. Now, I remember back in my first season in MRC, Fox, aka Jake, as we got a safety car. Now, Jake, in his final race before he departed and then rejoined, in Belgium, Season 5, won the race in Tier 1 in similar conditions to these. Started dry and went to full wet. Now, as Hosman speeds into the safety car, gets a drive-through. His day goes from bad to worse.
No.
So anyway, my long point to this is that Jake, aka the Fox, is rather good when it gets slippy. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Now then, another man who knows what he's doing is our race leader, who we've barely seen. That's because he's just waltzed away while everyone's been tripping over themselves. Which is fun. In fairness to him, he's done a fantastic job. He has now caught the safety car. We'll watch everyone else now catch up to it too. Thomas Hornet
used quite a bit of his ERS as well. I know they've been quite slow under the safety car for a quarter of a lap, if that. But everyone has full ERS again, whereas Alex is having to recharge his, which obviously he's going to easily do. Stu has DNF'd.
He's in the pits. I think it's the damage.
Yeah, that was everything apart from the engine cover. Really.
Yeah, I have to say that is a shame. That is a shame. But we move on. Now then, let's get trivial. Let's get some factoids on the screen. So, the Spanish Grand Prix. How many venues can you name from the Spanish Grand Prix, including, of course, the European Grand Prix, as it has been known for certain venues as well?
Which was Valencia.
That was one of them. There was another one.
It was. Trying to think now. What else was it?
Think to the 90s.
Was it Jerez?
It was Jerez. Yes, Jerez in the 90s was the host of the European Grand Prix. I quite liked Jerez. In the absence of any long straights, it was quite a great lap and featured one occasion where 3 drivers tied for pole position. Do you know who those 3 drivers were?
In Jerez.
It was in 1997, if that gives you any clues as to who it might have been.
97's going to be. Who was? Sorry, I'm going to say Michael was up there.
He was. Mr. Schumacher was one of the 3.
Oh, was this the infamous with Villeneuve and? Oh, was it Montoya was the 3rd?
No, it was not Montoya.
Who was the 3rd alongside Villeneuve with it? There were 3, and then believe me, I can't remember.
It was the man who replaced Damon Hill at Williams.
I can't remember who replaced him, to be honest.
It's Heinz Harold Frentzen. They all did the same lap time within a thousandth of a second. Incredible times. But anyway, the Spanish Grand Prix itself has been hosted in some other tracks other than those 2 that host the European Grand Prix. So Jeremar hosted it in 1981. The Circuit de Catalunya in various forms has hosted it for many years now, from the 80s to the present day. And there was also a track called Sepsa Pedrabales, which hosted the event even in 1951. Fun fact for you today. Now, this circuit itself, we've seen a few different renditions of this very circuit. Now, this form is how we knew it in the 90s, with the long sweeping turn 10, and then the simple two fast right-handers at the end of the lap. They then changed to have a tighter hairpin, which you can see the layout of at turn 10 where we are now. They then added a chicane to the final corner, thinking it would improve overtaking. It didn't really. And now we've gone back to what we had in the 90s. So, the old ways are the best, right?
I quite like the chicane. Yes, I understand what they're saying, but it kind of sometimes brought people together for, the exit of the chicane and the exit through the last corner where we are now. I quite liked it, personally. I definitely preferred the old turn 10 hairpin. A bit tighter. I preferred that than the one we've got now. Now, whether it's because it's off camber and you're going up the hill, at the lower speeds you don't feel it as much, so maybe that's why. I just keep thinking with this layout, those last two corners of, I know it's another sport, but the infamous Valentino Rossi Jorge Lorenzo battle.
Yes.
In the Yamaha. That's what I think of when you think of this layout in terms of the last two corners. That's what I immediately think of.
Indeed. No, I personally agree. The chicane I quite liked, because I quite like technical sections to a track. It's something I quite enjoy, which is weird because most people don't. But I actually prefer the swooping long left-hander for turn 10. I think it's a better layout. It's more enjoyable. And being slightly later means you've got a chance of an overtake. Especially with the
it's
different
quite
lines
wide,
out of
isn't
it.
And there's different lines through there as well you can take.
Yeah, so you can follow a little bit better through there, whereas, especially with the high-speed double right-hander, following through there is actually quite difficult. Whereas through the chicane, you could get close and personal on the brakes with someone and tease them into a mistake. But, safety car is coming in this lap, so...
It doesn't stay out long, so that's good news.
Yeah.
Alex is getting a penalty for having the Red Bull helmet.
Yeah, agreed. Martin needs to hurry up if he wants to catch the back of the field, because he's still 14-15 seconds off the back of the pack, and...
He's got the intermediates on.
Has he now? We've got a position change on the screen.
One on the intermediates. I think he'll catch the pack. I think that's not a problem.
He's taking a gamble. He's taking a big gamble there.
I'm definitely going to be interested to see the warm-up and see the overall grip.
Especially as he's really ramping up to the back of them. His tyres will be optimal, whereas everyone else will be probably slightly colder than they want to be. Yeah. You're right, Martin has caught the field. He will be relieved, and Alex has dropped the bomb. By the way, Hoseman's just pitted. He's got a drive-through. Yeah, no, you're right.
He won't be able to take it now. He'll find that he probably won't be able to take it.
But look at the fight through turn 1. Monsters up the inside of Lorpy. And Lorpy hangs on. But Monster's not going away. Through turn 3, are we going to see these two get closer? Fox Rivers now getting on the case. Is he going to go round the outside of Monster? He is! Oh, he's on collision! Oh! That was a slight collision, but he just held on. And Connor's retired.
Yeah, that's... I'm not sure what that is. Oh, it's
safety car, turn 3.
Well.
Another safety car.
And Holzman has not taken his penalty.
Yeah,
because he did
right.
when the safety car came in, so he's put him really at a disadvantage.
It has. He's lost position for nothing there. Oh dear, Connor's lost it at turn 3. I'm assuming there must have been contact with somebody, because it's... whilst he could have lost it, it's more likely there must have been a little tap if battle was going on. We just saw Fox River and Monster have a little collision. Jax has managed to sneak past Fox River and all of that. So he's up to P5.
Like, Fox kind of had a bit of a twitch. Andrew didn't look, his car looked quite stable. I think Fox, taking that wide line, maybe touched the white lines at the edge and just got a twitch and was lucky that didn't come into anything more than that. I think that's
you're right,
more of a racing incident than anything.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just, wow. That
it's
was
going to be interesting to see if anybody decides to pit. Yes, everyone's already grouped together. But, well, no, the leaders. Oh, Alex is.
Oh,
I like it.
games.
I like that.
Alex and Gastian having a little tease with each other there. They didn't cross any lines, so that was all well and good. But speaking of crossing the line, there's someone who has crossed the line. It's Jason Sargent. Evening, boys and girls, and Chris.
He's a toaster. You don't know
I mean, I live rent free in that guy's head. It's fine. Anyway, so Jason, hello. You have your 2 minutes for attention. Hello, good friend. Now then, so Aerovoice and Wowzer do take the chance to pit under the safety car. They're at the back anyway, so no real loss for either of them. Are they going to gamble on an intermediate? It doesn't look like they have. They've both gone wet.
They're stuck with the wets, yeah.
Martin stayed in the inters.
Well, you didn't really get a chance to see if you could do anything with it. So, understandable.
Indeed.
I think Dumas is looking okay. Womack's there's 4 and 6 laps on their wet tyres, respectively. The game does pretty much make you pit. The wets or inters won't last a full race distance. This much behind the safety car, we'll probably only have another lap after this one. Likes to only do 2. That'll be it, I think, and then it will help that tyre wear.
Definitely. I mean, someone who just popped in the YouTube chat called Calvin, he personally, I know, would make a wet or intermediate last the race distance. There's a few people who I know are quite good on their tyres who probably could. Another one of those would be Redcar Rambo. He is not here today because he and Fanning are at the wedding of Fanning. Not to Redcar Rambo, sadly. Although those two would make a good married couple. Do you not think? But yeah, congratulations to Fanning on his wedding. It's tomorrow. Yeah. In case anyone wants to gate crash, it's tomorrow.
I mean, I'm pleased they're watching. I mean, you still need to all hit the like button because there's only me that's hit it so far. So that's just 25 people. Come on, guys. Well, at least half you hitting the like button.
I think you've got a point there. Don't forget to subscribe and, of course, comment on all of our videos. Happy memories and comments about your times in MRC. Get some publicity out there for us all. Now then, if this safety car could hurry up and make its way in, whilst we do that, Haji, how many Spanish F1 drivers can you name in the next 2 minutes?
Oh, crying out loud. Obviously, you go with the obvious for Fernando, for Carlos Sainz. You go for... Oh, this is going to completely give me a mind blank when you put me on the spot. Okay, I've only got 2 minutes. This isn't good. I'm trying to think now. What was I trying to think?
Would you like some clues?
This is going to kill a lot of people, this. Let's have a think. That's up there. Then we've got...
Do you want a clue?
Yes.
So I think Toro Rosso, young driver Toro Rosso who never really got a chance.
That does not narrow it down at all.
I mean, that's every single one of them, really. If your name's not Vettel or Verstappen, that's every single one of them.
Yeah, pretty much. It is, isn't it? De La Rosa was Brazilian.
De La Rosa, no, De La Rosa is Spanish. Pedro De La Rosa is Spanish, yeah.
Okay. Alguersuari, I'm going with.
Yes. You've got him. Now, another one drove for Mana in the mid-2000s, but only did half a season before getting booted and wasn't very good.
That didn't help either.
Roberto Merri.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got it. Fair.
Oh, it looks like...
the name. I do remember the name, though.
We'll run through some more of those later. I'm sure we'll get another safety car in the next 20 laps. But
Alex...
I
use Google.
Oh, fair enough. Alex has dropped them already. He's caught them napping this time. Gassian was not ready, and he's over 1.2 seconds behind already. As he heads down to turn 1, are the AlphaTauris going to play ball? They're going to fight. And Jake, the Foxworth, is up the inside of Jackson's turn 1, showing that immediate wet weather prowess that he's got in his arsenal. And look at this, Bits just made a little bit of a move on Friday Rooster, and he's now on the back of Wemax. Are we going to see the resurgence of Carl? I hope so, but side by side, 3 abreast into turn 4. That's 5J Rooster, Single Track and Captain Nibs. Single Track goes up the inside. The intermediate seems to be working at this stage. In fact, it is working.
Yeah, Nibs got a good run through the both of them, but you're right, it does seem to... He's not struggling. Oh, he got great
Martin's
traction.
got him there.
Great traction.
These guys are on older tyres, which will have lost the edge as well. Martin's tyres are a bit newer. They've only raced under safety car, and on the restart, they'll have better temperature.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep on board with Martin. He has just counted the back a bit and got through him already. Oh, nearly. Forced bit to break late and bits carried on going. That's not the hairpin bit. We've stopped that now.
Now then, keep an eye on that. We're just looking at 2 AlphaTauris up front and then Monster. Alex is starting to run away from these guys, but the rest of them are quite close behind. Jackster looking to get vengeance on the Fox River, wanting P5 back. That's definitely a fight that's going to get exciting, but just behind them, Womack's making a move on Genie. They're side by side down that main straight. Oh no, Genie's got good enough straight line speed, but is Womack's going to send it into turn 1? Not this time, but Jackster ahead of them broke very early, as did Fox. These two looked a bit more lively on the brakes. Just behind them.
Have that confidence, don't they? A single track.
Yeah, he's caught them two now as well.
He's absolutely flying, and he was quick the other day as well. Obviously, I said he was quick on Friday, and he is, as Jackster's gone very wide.
You can take the wide line there, but look at this Martin's drive through there on the exit. Look at him go. He's just picking them off now.
Wow.
They can't afford to pit because he's just got track position on them.
Yeah, and he's had to take it careful. I don't think Womack saw him and nearly closed the door. He's had to back out just because Womack's... I don't know if he saw him. He should have had all the red arrows because he was definitely alongside and really didn't quite leave enough room to do well to not have contact. This is all getting spicy, this now.
The back
Monsters kind of with Fox, as you say, was a bit struggling a little bit on the brakes. This has allowed that little bit of a gap, little breathing room to Monster, who can kind of focus ahead of himself now. Alex is just, as you said, disappearing off.
Indeed.
Really got his car hooked up.
Oh, we've got yellow flag. Wazza and Captain Nibs have had a moment each, and they've lost positions. But this fight...
Nibs was doing so well. I don't know, that looked at different points to me, so I'm not sure.
Bit has pitted for intermediates. He has bitted.
Voice is in as well.
Indeed, so that's got to be the intermediates. Surely for those who are in the pit lane now. Fox River, Jackson, Genie, Womack and Single Track. That fight is the battle on track for quite a number of positions. And it is clear the intermediate is the tyre to be on right now. Martin is in a very, very nice position right now. Surely no one's going to have a move there. Oh, Jackson does go off track briefly, but he's recovered. That's giving Fox River some breathing space now. Genie's got to watch out. Martin's on the right. And there's a
he didn't watch out. He didn't see him.
And Martin's
right across. Wow,
Martin's held on to that. Dumbest Hornet just avoids his... I was just going to say Dumb and Dumber, but I didn't mean that. I'm sorry, Dumbest Hornet.
Baby Hornet is going to love you tonight.
Yeah, for once. I give Baby Hornet a lot of abuse, so it's about time I abuse the other one. Now, Martin and Dumbest Hornet had a big moment there. Genie is an apology, has just let Single Track through. That's probably for shutting the door. I think so. That's fair game, seeing as he did kind of just put him off track. Jackson's just got off track again at turn 10.
Yeah, he's really struggling. He's gone a lot longer. He's on the 15 lap wet.
Yes.
Womack's pitted early. He's not going to be feeling it as much as those guys, but the wet anyway the wear, as you mentioned, is going to be a bit high as much as it's been behind the safety car. It's going to be still quite considerably higher.
If there's not enough water for the full wets to A, keep cool, and B, actually be productive, they're going to start to overheat and just not be effective at all. They'll also then start to lose grip mid-corner and on traction exit, and then wear up faster. So Martin, Bits, Aerovoice and Wazza, all of the intermediates right now are looking cushy. By the way, Bits just set the fast lap in the race. Now, Bit won't mind me saying
track.
this.
He's the only one apart from Fire Rooster really who's got clear track.
Yeah, Bit won't mind me saying this. Is Martin now on the inside of Jackster? That was a very easy move for Martin. He's just done that 2 laps in a row.
Oh, Jackster's giving him a tap though.
It's Rubbing's racing. But
that wasn't well, yeah.
Oh, he's rubbing him up the wrong way. But anyway, Bit won't mind me saying it. But he's not the fastest over a single lap. but he knows how to make race strategy and race pace work in a longer run rather than a short run. Now, the fact that he's just set the fast lap of the race shows that there's definitely a gap between the tyres in performance.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that gap was 10 seconds.
Martin, very twitchy. Very twitchy in the back of Rumax. And Rumax is all over the back of Fox. He's slowly catching up again to Monster.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, Carl's pulled about 3 seconds in just over a lap to Fire Rooster, or close I should say, and
that's
it's really
huge gap.
So we are definitely at that crossover. It doesn't look really like the rain's eased, it's just I think the line's forming.
Now, just looking at the gaps, the leader, Bit's 24.5 seconds to the leader. I think that's about the kind of gap for a pit stop, you know. So Martin, Bit, and if Error Voice can get a bit of a move on, will find themselves as the next podium if this rain does ease a little bit more and everyone else then pits.
Yep,
Error Voice
Error Voice now.
Fastest lap for Error Voice.
Enters.
Yep. And Wazza also enters with the fastest lap. It's got to be done. If you're Alex right now, you don't want to gamble on pitting early because if there's a safety car, you're in trouble. But if there's no safety car, you're going to end up behind all of these guys.
Oh, that's it. But the longer this goes on, the more the Inters play in.
Although,
naturally, there's more grip, so the less chances of the rear spinning out is potentially there. But the chances are raised for these guys being on the wrong tyres.
Bitch has lost position to Hoseman. I think he's had a moment somewhere. And look at this. Wow. Rumax and Fox River and Single Track all side by side into turn 10. Fox River's got all the oversteer there. Rumax going round the outside of him. Martin having to wait for these two to battle it out whilst trying to make a move himself.
Which he is. He's alongside.
He's got to go for that.
Know he's there. He does.
What a move. And Monster's pitted.
Monster.
Alex is pitted. Yep. They're not waiting any longer. I think that's some wet tyre overheating.
Look at the drive that Single Track's got out the last corner.
Yeah, the wets are overheating. They've got to be overheating in these conditions now. And Martin takes P3. The AlphaTauris lead the race ahead of him. And Wumax coming back at Martin. Martin with a huge slide. Martin, if you're listening, change your brake bias slightly forward and up your diff. You'll be fine. Stop having these brown pant moments. Back to the leading duos. The AlphaTauris ahead are actually having quite a good little ding-dong between the two of them. They're exchanging sector times between them. And Gassian currently leads out the two of them. We've seen these two on track quite often are quite close. They're quite well matched as a teammate duo. They're currently P1 and P2, although, as predicted, Alex has come out just ahead of Bit, and we know that Bit lost time after a mistake, so... As predicted...
24 seconds is about there.
Yeah.
So that gap from Alex to Dumas is 15 seconds, pretty much exact. And that's going to be, straight away. Look at straight away in a couple of corners, half a second he's taken out. Straight off the bat. And
Indeed.
I think for these wet guys, it is time to go in. It's going to be interesting to see what Single Track does, if he can make those last to the end.
It's going to be hard. If he can, then he's laughing. If he can't, he's gambled a bit too early and shown his hand, allowed everyone else to copy him. But he had damage anyway, I believe. So, and there we go. The first AlphaTauri is in. That's Gassian. Lorpy takes the race lead, but look, Martin's already caught him.
Yeah, he has. That was over 2 seconds a while ago. And Gassian 5 seconds.
And now Martin takes the lead. He's had such great drive out that final corner, and he just roars past with a great slipstream down the main straight.
But the times Martin's lost a bit of traction, it isn't. It's not understeer, so he's not dragging the front across the circuit. He's not spinning the rears up. It's under braking where it kind of locks a little bit, so it's not as harmful, the slides that Martin's had in terms of tyre wear.
Indeed.
And he's taking different lines, so he's on the wetter parts of the circuit as well. There is a definite dry line there now. Or drier.
Bitch has taken P7, he's slotted him. So Alex and Gassian are pitted, and the Ferraris have slotted in between them. Looks to me like Hoseman's just defending Carl. It looks like he's just sitting behind him, covering him if anything. And good team play from the Ferraris. Hoseman's a big twitch there in turn 4, and that's allowed Gassian to sneak through. Now, so Bit and Single Track pitting when they did have really benefited. Error Voice, it hasn't quite worked for him, but he's once the people pit.
Outside of 5, oh, good move from Monster. There you got a great drive as well, outside of 5 through 6.
Oh, it's round, Carl's round. Hoseman's round.
He may have got a little bit wide. Andrew got the move done before. Was on the exit.
Gassian's making a move on Bit. Bit breaks very late for turn 10. Is he going to keep it on track? No chance. Miles off there, and now Gassian passes Bit. Lorpy has now pitted. Rumax stays out. Fox River stays out. Dumbest Hornet stays out.
Sorry, Lorpy.
Oh, sorry, yeah, he has it. Yeah, so Lorpy's in. The others have stayed out. This is a gamble, I think, from all of them, because surely they're gambling on the safety car coming. And look at this.
The time difference was only a few seconds before this round of pit stops. Alex was passed before Loppy had stopped the car.
Yeah, that's huge. And Monster has now just taken Carl. Carl has had a bit of a moment on the straight, lost position to Error Voice as well. Hoseman speeds in the pit lane.
This has not been good for Hoseman. Drive through as well that he took falsely. I'm going to use the term falsely, but incorrectly, and was unlucky with, and then another 5 seconds as well. It's not after qualifying second and then beaching it, which I've never ever seen before.
Rumax has got no front wing. He's going to have to pick this lap and put the intermediates on. I'm not sure how he's done it, but it's a disaster for Rumax.
On the back of Fox as well.
Indeed. Now these two, surely they've got to pit. They must be gambling on a safety car or something, but they're surely going to have to pick this lap. They're losing that much time. And Alex has found a couple of seconds, actually more like 7 or 8 seconds on Martin since pitting.
Yeah,
His lap
really
ties
has.
to 10 laps newer. That 10 laps will make a huge difference.
If Martin pits, he's going to be coming out around Carl and Wazza.
Yes.
And potentially Loppy. That's where he's going to be. Dumbest pits.
Dumbest Hornet pits.
He'll probably get the undercut onto Fox. But that's where that gap's going to be. That if he decides he's going to pit, and it's another fastest lap.
Yeah.
I think Single Track may try. He's got 11 laps left. It's a big ask.
Waz is having a look at Bit down the main straight now. I think Bit's just lost a bit of confidence in the car and in the conditions, and other people are starting to gain it. So that's a nice clean move for the Williams driver on the Ferrari. I'd like to see that in real life, please, Alex Albon, if you're listening. We know Alex Albon likes MRC. Now, Jackster and Lorpy having a little fight. The Dutch duo having a little battle. And that's for P9 and P10. So, Lorpy and Gassian, as we saw before, they were together on track. Gassian and Lorpy, within a second of each other when Gassian pisses, they are now 8 seconds apart. That was the benefit of, Gassian getting the clean track and getting the undercut. But then because Lorpy's got stuck in traffic, he's lost further time. Alex Jarek has passed Fox River on track. Fox is yet to pit. Alex has got the move done. Bit twitchy though.
Wow. Yeah, just got that done through turn 10. 9.6, the gap.
Yeah, the gap's dropping.
It will drop very quickly. We'd have to say Fox. Time to bail. But he's not.
Surely, no, he's waiting for a safety car.
Yeah. But he's had these on pretty much, nearly since the start.
No, he has had them on since the start. It'll be the end of this lap.
Yes.
So he's the only man to have not made a pit stop. And yeah, he's waiting on a safety car, surely, or maybe for the track to dry up altogether, but it doesn't look like it's going to stop raining, if I'm really honest.
I think you're right.
Monster.
Captain Nibs has been unlucky for him. For those two.
Indeed. Monster now is within the 5-second penalty range of Gassian, who has a speeding in the pit lane penalty. He has a comfortable few seconds over Error Voice behind him. Monster's in with a reasonable shout with a very good finish here, and he could well get a podium. Obviously, Fox River Head needs to pit. Gassian ahead of him with a penalty. There's a podium on the cards here for Monster.
Yeah.
Still got 10 laps to go after this one, but it's reasonably doable. Now then,
I think he just needs to keep his focus, keep his head, keep his focus, and I know he can. But that's what he needs to do. Just easy on the brakes, easy on the throttle. He's closing a little bit. You can see Gassian ahead of him. He just needs to leave it. While Wazza and Evervoice battle behind, just let them do
Martin's
their
round!
thing.
Martin's round! Martin's dropped it at the penultimate corner. He's now made his way into the pits. Martin, he's just dropped it from the lead. Now, I hate to say it, but I was just thinking if there's a safety car, Martin surely pits. But I was about to say, would you pit now, except that you're not going to hold position and use this chance to come back at everyone else? with the pace he's clearly got, but unfortunately he's dropped it, and now Gassian goes around the outside of the Fox River, little bit of contact. Gassian just...
Boyson was it side by side. Wazza gets it.
Wazza indeed. Oh, wow. Now then, Monster needs to... He's lost a little bit of time to Gassian, who looks like he's found a bit of pace himself, so it's Rematch now sets a fastest lap in P14. Monster needs to try and close up to Gassian to guarantee himself a chance at the podium. Potentially now looking at a top 2 if he can get close enough.
Yeah, Single Track's got about 4.5 seconds to Genie ahead of him.
Much newer
tyres,
tyres,
coming into a battle with Dumbest Hornet Bit and that little group, that squabble as well. So Single Track's got that time to find the grip again,
Indeed.
get those tyres working, and get them right into the groove before he can really put the hammer down that we've seen already do on those inters. So he's got time to do it, but it's amazing how quickly, when you just focus on doing your little thing there, how suddenly you look up and you go, don't have many laps left.
Indeed.
And it... Ooh,
Dumbest Hornet with a great move on Bits there. Great move.
Takes a lot more of that outside line around turn 10 down there, and it's cost him quite a lot this race, unfortunately.
Yeah, agreed. I personally keep it tighter.
Yeah, needs to... As Monster side by side, sorry, with Fox. Gets the move.
Indeed, that's crucial for him.
Merit.
So he is now 3.7 seconds now behind Gassian. If he can close up the gap and just make sure he's within that 5-second window, he is looking at a potential P2 in this race. There's no one behind him that has significant pace to close up a major gap to him. So, Monster, keep it clean, son.
Was is on 9 lap old inters. We saw Martins after about 13 or so laps start to give up the ghost from that spin as well. So Was is not going to be feeling too good, whereas Monster's got 8 laps left. So they'll get to that stage right at the end of the race.
Yeah.
So Monster, Gassian, Alex, the top 3 kind of in a good position.
Indeed, the top 3 I think will be the top 3. Fox, well, Fox is in a position where he's got to gamble on either a safety car or the tyres just surviving. Either way, he's currently got Wazza very close behind him now. So come through to 10-10, you can see Wazza, and then the training pack of Lorpy, Jackster, Error Voice, and Dumbest Hornet closing quickly. Yeah, look how much drive. Sorry, go ahead.
Monster has dropped a little bit, but all the while these laps tick down, Fox is looking for potential a safety car to minimise that loss. I think it's not worked out, but we're taking those laps down and it will suddenly get to the stage where we're out of safety car window.
Indeed. I mean, we've got 7 laps after this one. Alex is a bit further on the lap than most people are. Haven't really looked at Alex, and we've got a Red Bull out in the final corner. That's Captain Nibs. Will that be the infamous safety car that Fox was looking for? Nope, he's got the car moving. Now then, Fox with another huge switch, and that gives Wazza a huge opening into turn 5. And
Lorpy's
going to sneak up there too.
The
Surely that's going to be positioned for Lorpy. It is, and now Jackster will just wait to take his prey as well. These two were fighting on track on the same tyre earlier on as Nibs loses it at turn 2 now. These two here, Fox and Jackson, fighting on the same tyre earlier on the full wets. Jackson has pitted and caught up with him within, 10? Not even 10 laps, 6 laps.
Pretty much.
6 laps on this tyre, and Jackson has caught him and passed him. That is the amount of time Fox has gambled on here.
Yeah, I mean, I see his point. You know, he's maybe trying for points, but the fact that whoa, crikey, he's really struggling, and then Dumbest opportunistic, and he's trying to pit.
Yeah, he's going to pit. Yeah, he's failed.
With him.
Oh, indeed.
He's had to. Single Track's caught the back of Carl. Has Martin got enough time?
Safety car.
Oh wow! As Nibs is retired. Where was that?
Fox River is laughing right now because he has just got the safety car he wanted. He's going to lose all of his positions that he could have possibly lost. But still.
I'm not sure where that was. Tell you what, this game now is really clearing up the. I like to jump on board with somebody. I don't like to see somebody retire, obviously, definitely not. But I like to jump on board to see where is it, and if there's someone passing it, trying to find out where it is. And they cleared up so quickly. I think it was the exit of turn 5.
Yeah, the marshals clear things up nice and easy. Now, genuine question for you here. If you're Alex, do you pit for a fresh set of inters? You're definitely coming out ahead of Monster. You might lose position to Gassian. I would pit. I would take a fresh set, and
I think you would for the end.
I would personally do it, because he's going to guarantee to come out in P3, even if no one else pits.
Yeah.
You're not going to lose anything.
5. Yeah, he'll know the gap.
And he'll feel like he can pass him anyway. He's a confident lad. I would pit.
Oh yeah, he's got the pace, 100%.
He does.
I think he's listened.
Alex is a wise man. He's a wise man, is Alex.
Gassian.
I'd pit if I were Gassian. I'd get the penalty served. I'd get it done.
Oh yeah, you can, can't you? And then
get the penalty served.
We're going to have at least 5 racing laps.
Indeed. Now Monster stays out. Gassian. What's he doing? Oh dear. Monster is now going to take the lead of the race, unless Alex's car makes its way quickly down the pit lane. Here we go. It's going to be close.
No, Monster just gets it.
He does. Now, Monster is going to have to watch out for Alex. He's going to have all the pace in the world. Behind them, Jackster has pitted as well, as has Error Voice, as has Bits.
Martin stayed out. There was no point in him pitting.
He's literally just got a brand new set on. So, Wazza in P3, Lorpy P4, Jackster P5. Considering that in the top 7, only one man has got brand new tyres, and that's Alex in P2. The next man with brand new tyres is Gassian P8 with a 5-second penalty. Error Voice has gone to the full wets in P11.
Interesting.
Now, why has he done that?
I think he's made 3 stops now, so has he used both sets of inters?
That would be...
He's had to go back to a set of wets.
That would be a shame if so.
Because you get 2 sets of inters, don't you, and 4 sets of wets?
I thought it was 3 and 3 respectively, but either way, I think...
Well, it's going to be interesting right at the end now to see what he can do.
On the restart, he'll have better tyre warm-up. The tyres will light up slightly more, I believe. However, as the stint progresses, the tyres will overheat if there's not enough water, so that could be a bold call from Error Voice. If with only, it might get 5 laps or 4 laps of running. That's a bold call to potentially gain himself some positions. If not, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we'll see.
Fabian said it's a glitch in YouTube. Martin still got wing damage. You can't see it, to be honest. Martin, you can't see the wing damage. It looks okay from here.
Are we going to say that he's just lying? We could just say that he's lying to us about his wing damage. He's sandbagging.
Unless it's... I'm trying to look at the rakes on it, and I can't see any damage. Okay.
Indeed. Let's go back to the Spanish F1 drivers. So obviously we mentioned about, of course, Mr. Roberto Meri, we mentioned De La Rosa Alguersuari, Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso. But how many more España drivers can you name?
There was one. I have goggled.
Goggled? Oh.
I've goggled.
You spy with a hodgy eye.
Where's it gone? Don't mind, it's gone. I can name a few more now because I've kind of...
You've cheated. Now,
I have cheated. I cheated completely.
Before you cheat, there's one that always took my eye, which is Marc Genet, who was a test driver and reserve for Williams in the early 2000s when Montoya and Ralf Schumacher were teammates there. But he also then went off to be Ferrari's test and reserve driver for a while, not long afterwards, which I think is a bit of a weird but successful career for someone who barely got to drive on track.
Yeah.
But the most underappreciated one is Adrian Campos, who only made 21 race appearances and 17 starts between 87 and 88. He went on to set up Campos Racing, who later made an F1 entry, who then got bought out by Hispania, which then became HRT, as you might have known it from 2010 to 2012. And they gave their race debut to Daniel Ricciardo, of all drivers.
Didn't know that, but that's awesome.
Indeed.
That is very cool.
And one of the notable mention is, he might not be Spanish, but the Spanish-speaking Venezuelan, this is Pastor Maldonado, won his first and only F1 race here in Catalonia in 2012 in the Williams. That was Williams' last Grand Prix win. It was the last win by a Spanish-speaking driver other than Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz. And yeah, just random fact for you. Anyway, Monster will lead them out the final corner now. Here we go. When's he going to go? I think he's gone early. He has, and it's not caught Alex napping. Alex is actually closing on him out that final corner. Is Alex going to make a move into turn one? He is gaining.
Yes, I don't think he's going to be close enough to take a brave man to do it. He does back out as Andrew got it stopped in time. He did. Indeed.
Jackster and Dumbers Hornet side by side. Jackster around the outside. And just behind them, you've got Gaston trying to go around Gene Genie. And Gene Genie's in the wall! He's out!
No.
Oh, there's a collision between the two, and Gene Genie is in the wall, and that's another safety car.
Wow, I'm surprised by that. But it
was surely going to be one lap.
End of this lap, I would imagine.
1 lap, 2 laps tops. It will go in the next lap at the latest. And yeah, not to say too much, but it did look like Genie was hit into the wall. But of course, onboards and shoot inquiries later on might shed some better light. But that is our 6th retirement of the race. Unfortunately, Gene Genie retiring there means that he is out, and that means Hoseman in 14th is our last running car. Oh dear, what a shame for the Genie. His teammate is in the lead, and this is a silver lining for him at least, that his teammate will bring hopefully some good points home to the team. And actually, Monster, this late safety car is just what he needed to not give as much of an advantage to the guys behind on newer tyres.
Yeah, I think you're right with that one, because, you know, you go back to the tyre situation, and he's going to struggle at the end because of the age of his tyres. So's Wazza, so's Jackster. Helping single track massively because of the penalties for the guys ahead. So there's potentially 2 more positions, unless whatever he gains on track as well. I think we're going to have a very fun 2 laps.
Yes, I think we're going to get... Oh, Dumbers Hornet's out!
Dumbers Hornet's
retired.
Wow,
what has just happened there? There's been a collision with somebody, I'm sure.
He's on the side of the track, yeah, and missing a few wheels.
Yes, now something must have happened. We just saw shrapnel and wings and debris everywhere on the side of the screen. Well, that's one less person for single track backwards to all gain, and that means we now have 13 of the 20 initial runners remaining, with 2 laps to go at the end of this.
So you know, I said I prefer the slow corners because it slows the average speed down.
Yes.
Yeah, I stand by that. You know, I remember saying I'm not always keen on the wet. I'll stand by that.
Yeah, that I'm not sure what happened there. Again, I'm sure we will hear more later on. But that promotes Bits into P10, Fox River into P9, Woomax to P8, and Single Track to P7.
You might want to quick pause and unpause. I think there's an audio bit on the stream.
Yeah, the noise does keep going crackly, I've noticed. I keep trying to...
It's done this for the last couple of races now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Martin said he got a good view of what happened to Chris.
That's a shame. What he must have had a good view. He's not far behind him.
Yeah, he was 2 places behind him, so yeah, definitely.
Indeed. Now the safety car, as predicted, is in this lap, so 2 lap shootout. Monster, Alex, Wazza, Lorpy. Who's going to win? One of those 4, or will it be somebody else?
Yeah, well, Tip Monster hopefully have a good race. Single track, he's doing okay now in 7th.
Yeah, shout out to Jax from P5, considering he started I think it was 15th, 14th. He's now up to P5. That's a good race from him.
And that's the thing about being patient in the wet and allowing the race to come to you, the tyres to come to you. And he's done just that. Now then, where does Andrew go? Where does he try to put the throttle down? He's trying to half go through the last corner, and he has gone. Did not.
Alex has caught him out. Alex is coming.
What was coming?
Here he comes. Mr. Rogeric is on the inside. Who's going to break latest? Mornison's got good straight line speed, but Alex on the inside. Mornison breaks latest, and tell you what, fortune favours the brave, as Alex couldn't match Mornison on the brakes there, and Mornison has got himself through turn 1 and 2 safely. Through turn 3, and Alex has a great run. Surely he's going to have the position in turn 4. It's just behind him, it's getting scrappy too. Alex takes position. Just behind them, Wazza will be hoping to sneak himself in here.
Oh, they
Lorpy.
look like they're on skates behind them.
Oh, Monster with a big moment. Oh, Lorpy. Wazza had a big moment there, and he's just clipped Monster. And just behind them, the opportunist Lorpy and Gassian have ended up making positions out of that. It's Jackster and Womack stuck behind them. Single track and bit swapping places briefly there as well.
Yeah, I think there's a few love taps going on further back.
Alex is running away. We're having some audio glitches again. Alex running away. Monster P2, Wazza P3 all over the back of him. And just behind them, look at this. Jackster trying to come back at Lorpy round the outside.
But he's lost.
He's off track.
Unfortunately.
And Weemax might get him on the exit here if he's not careful.
We have to go on the outside, but he's got the space.
A big slide from Weemax. Lucky to hold on to that one there. And that gives Fox River the chance.
To the second last corner.
Yeah, the sound is awful. I do apologise to anyone who's hearing this. It does sound very dodgy. Gassian now having a look at Wazza. This is the saving grace of Monster. Is the AlphaTauri. I'd have gone for the inside there if I were you, Gassian. And oh my word, collision. Oh wow, Wazza very late on the brakes, and Monster's lucky to keep position there. That was really nearly a disaster. I'll tell you what, Wazza, he might have made an honest mistake there, but that was nearly race ending for several cars. Jackster now on the defensive against Weemax whilst trying to attack Lorpy.
The grip that Gassian has on those fresher inters is ridiculous. Even took him on the entry into fire. Is he going to have
look at Fox River, what a move! And now Bit's coming back at Fox and Weemax. Is Bit going to get the undercon? Both of them, he does! Carl is up to P6 and there's collision with Fox River there. And Carl has just... Oh, Fox River's in the wall!
Gone? How do you keep it out the wall?
But Carl has just snuck his way into P6 there. What opportunistic driving.
Monster just needs to keep close to the back of Gassian to re-inherit that second place. And you've got a couple more corners to do it.
Indeed. Now then, Jackster is in P5, just ahead a bit, just behind Lorpy. Can he sneak this position from his fellow Dutchie? Doesn't look like it, but Carl's now looking like an attack on the penultimate corner. Alex takes the win in the fastest lap of the final lap. Gassian will take P2 on track, but will lose it to Monster. Monster will inherit P2 then. Gassian is going to drop down the order. Lorpy takes P3, Jackson P4, Bit P5, Weemax P6. Gassian now drops to P7, Single Track P8, Fire Rooster P9 and 10th for Wazza. Fox River, Error Voice and Hoseman finished just outside the points, still classified.
Wow.
What an ending.
That really was.
I'm just gonna say the game's given its drive of the day to Bit, and I have to say that late little surge from him then was rather impressive. A dominant drive from Alex there to take what was I have to say, very deserved win. It's hard to say otherwise, really. And Monster, he'll be thrilled with a P2 there. He'll be so happy after a few difficult weeks for him, both on and off track. So congratulations to both of them. And of course, both the AlphaTauri drivers, Lorpy and Gassian, again having great pace to be up there at the end as well. Who's your driver of the day today, Mr. Hodge?
I'm going to have to split it between Carl, who was quite patient, and I'm going to have to go as well for Andrew.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He's had a lot of bad luck in races. He gets kind of caught up quite a bit as well. And yeah, to finish second was... Yeah, fantastic, and I think I'm leaning more towards Andrew. I'm not going to lie, it's not because he's in an Aston. I am.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's agree. And Andrew the Monster and Carl the McBitty's Hobnob can share it. How about that?
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
I'll take that.
You know, actually, we'll have a three-way tie. I think Jackster with P16 to P4 as well. The three of them can share it. Oh, no more though. Three's enough. Anyway, what a result that was for quite a few of our boys on the screen, and. Of course, commiserations to the 7 drivers who did not finish, unfortunately. Fastest lap, of course, went to Alex, our race winner. What a drive from him. Dominant display. Pole to win. Fastest lap. You can't ask for much more in a race weekend, can you?
No, there was a lot of good racing, a lot of respectful racing. I think it got a little bit touchy towards the end.
It always does in the rain.
Yeah, just people really fighting for those last little places, but otherwise I think that was an enjoyable race. It was a good one for strategy as well, and who did pit who blinks first, and yeah, really enjoyed that.
Yes, and we, of course, get to do this all again, only this time we'll both be on track for the Spanish Grand Prix in Tier 1. We'll set sail, hopefully in the dry, in just 19 minutes, so stick around. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for commenting, liking, subscribing, and those who raced, of course. Don't forget to tune in shortly after for our next race as just discussed, and, of course, have a lovely evening. Thank you, Mr. Hyde, for joining me, and thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.